Good morning, guys. How are we all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan. This is our Bitcoin morning update. So if you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button, we shall go straight over to those Bitcoin 4-hour charts. So yeah, we are still flirting with this support stroke resistance area, a few forays below. We have previously had a few moves above it, but yeah, currently Bitcoin just trading sideways within this range. Ultimately it will have to make a decision. Do we make a move towards basically the $50,000 level, or do we lose this level and then potentially come down? Well, if we are lucky, to basically around 45,000 and hold there, but that is not really far, is it, from price action at the moment? Or do we just make that move all the way back down towards 42,000, and then have a proper back test of this old resistance as new support? So yeah, it's a bit of sideways here whilst the market digests this pretty much this whole move up so far. But yeah, we are basically waiting for a move. We are waiting for a move. As you can see, we're trading sideways. And what else is there to say, really? Is it going to be 50,000 or is it going to be 42,000? If we get up to 50,000, do we then get rejected from there? Then make a move down, or do we break above, consolidate at or around, maybe underneath this resistance zone, before potentially breaking upwards? If I had to guess, I would say that we are going to move towards 50,000, potentially trade sideways or just break through it and then have a bit of a foray into towards the mid 50s, but maybe only get as high as 52 before then potentially pulling back into what would be a very bullish pullback target. Obviously would be the 50,000, but it depends how high we got, or back down towards either the 48 or 46, $47,000 level, and then reassess at that point. If we have a look at the Ethereum Satoshi pairing, that is just clear, just sideways here. Any sort of pennant we tried to draw, we're just drifting out of it now, so it is just sideways. Obviously the positive take from this is we are above our major levels, so but very much looking like a potential bull flag. But we do obviously just need to see that expansion of volatility and see which direction it goes in. The USD pairing as well, pretty much just hovering around an area, and you could probably draw in a channel, you could probably make it into a wedge, but it's not really, it doesn't have a lot of angle to the wedge. But yeah, you could probably draw a channel. So do we break out to the upside or do we break out to the downside? We'll see if we can draw it in, just because there's not too much going on in this sideways market at the moment. Well, I say sideways, I mean it's only really been sideways a few days, hasn't it? Maybe 3 or 4 days, but overall there we go. Ascending channel, obviously a high likelihood of breaking to the downside, but they do break to the upside on occasion also, so we shall see. But we are at the lower end of it anyway, so we could see a move down and it could basically take us back down to this support, this $2,800 support level, where we would expect to hopefully see a bounce, and then that bounce then get continuation to the upside. Bitcoin dominance as well, looking good for a move down here as well. Obviously wanting to consolidate sideways. Well, he's not even really consolidating sideways, but he's wanting to not make the next leg down, but is around that support zone, but just below it. So that is what we want to see, get through that level, and at some point I would potentially expect this to make a move down. But if Bitcoin is to decide on a towards 50 or towards $42,000 move, then I think alts won't keep up, obviously, with that move. They won't keep that up with the move if it is to the upside. If Bitcoin moves to the upside, and then also they will potentially dump quicker than Bitcoin if it is to the downside also. Stock market's having an interesting little pullback. Obviously they don't like the taper talk, but I mean ultimately we realistically know, and this market clearly realistically knows there's going to be no real tapering. because it would be very much lower if it was taking any of that seriously. So these little moves are basically of no consequence in the bigger picture of trying to establish whether markets believe the Fed or not. They don't believe the Fed. Dollar index having a nice bounce off our level. Are we gonna basically put in a lower high relative to these highs, or are we going to push back up into here for a third time and print this as a higher low relative to this low and this low? We shall have to see. But obviously, whilst we're in this zone here, just expect sideways into the zone, obviously, until we break out. Either above this resistance area or below this support area. But we've kind of got this low here now as a point where we would expect to see continuation to the downside. And then similarly, I mean, I don't necessarily want to draw a trend line. I'd probably just look at these highs here. If we take out these highs, and then I think we could easily see an acceleration. It could then take us above these highs, and we could get some bullish action in this. So yeah, we'll have to see how that pans out. Gold looking to try and regain its previous sideways trading zone after its most recent smash, pretty much almost down to the target. But I mean, if we did have the target drawn higher to match with these levels here, it was basically bang on. But yeah, just pure manipulation here. Just trying to give gold a lower value price point in early Sunday, early morning hours, illiquid markets smashing huge amounts. But yeah, that's just the manipulation that goes on. This is what will happen once we get those potentially non-Bitcoin backed Bitcoin ETFs. They will then be able to mess about with their fiat toilet paper contracts to smash markets around. If we can do this to the gold market, precious metals markets, and they can do it for such a prolonged period of time, they will do it to Bitcoin. But I suspect with Bitcoin it will be a bit different, because people can very easily have control over their own Bitcoin, whereas people can't very easily or even want to have actual the control over their own gold and silver. So you could pretty much make paper markets invalid, and their price is invalid if they're not backed by the real thing, and the real thing can just clearly have a way higher real price on exchanges that are trading the actual real thing. So yeah, maybe even though they want to have this Bitcoin paper ETF or paper futures, which I guess the CME is anyway, they're gonna struggle to do the same sort of things they do with precious metals. And then let's not also forget Bitcoin cryptocurrency is basically increasing as a form of money. It's becoming more widely used and accepted as a form of money. It's on its monetary upward cycle, whereas gold is probably on its monetary downward cycle. At the end of the day, Finance 1.0 and the whole corrupt system, political and financial system, it basically, if we tried to go back to a gold or precious metal or anything sort of standard to try and recover their system, then we still got the same issues of we can't trust them to look to basically hold the gold or say it is where it is or say how much there is, or unless we were literally all going to have our own gold and silver and keep it on us or in our possession, you still have to trust these guys that basically can't be trusted. That's why crypto is great, because it is trustless, and then it is easy to hold, transport and use, and people can have basically custody over their own basically money. So that's why it's clearly better. That's why it's clearly on the up, and why gold is clearly on the downward spiral. And there was something else I want to say. Yes, that was it. I can't remember who it was, but one of the Fed, I think it was one of the Fed people, I believe, or maybe it was one of the securities exchange people, were saying how the Finance 1.0 is built on trust, and it's like crypto is built on not having to trust people, and also if the system's built on trust, we know we can't trust those people. So yeah, a bit of a ludicrous statement for him to make, but it just basically shows how delusional and how entrenched these Finance 1.0 people are. But yeah, like I said, that is pretty much why gold is probably struggling. As you guys know, I'm more interested in silver because silver is not a monetary metal anyway. It is just a metal with high potential upside, especially potentially with the direction technology is going in. So anyway, let's have a look at the stochastics for Bitcoin then. See how they are looking. Are we gonna get that move to 50 or 42? What are they suggesting? 4 hours coming pretty deep now, so obviously that's got plenty of room to turn back up. So that does look like a nice bullish reset, to be honest. Whatever we are operating, well, above $46,000, and this obviously got the potential to break us back up to basically break us back up to this level, the 48 and beyond. The 10 hour, let's wait for the 10 hour to load. How is that looking? I suspect it's turned back down now. Oh no, it hasn't turned back down. Well, it is turned down, but it is looking to, it has turned back down from this turn up yesterday, but it has turned back down, but looking to turn back up. So again, potential bullish reset in this, and obviously then it has a decent amount of room to move to the upside along with price action towards 50,000. 12 hour still coming down as well, so a potential potentially a bullish reset of this time frame also. Daily coming down, 2-day looking to turn down from a high level. 3-day has actually turned back up, but at a very high level. 5 days still racing to the moon. Weekly looking very good. Bi-weekly looking to turn back up. So I mean, overall, we know that the medium term trend now is clearly up. We do look like we're having a nice bullish reset of some of these more shorter term on the basis that we look at 4 hours as the shortest term time frame, but they're looking like they could turn back up. So realistically, if we get back above 47,000, above the top side of this level and above these wicks here, then I do think we will get that move to 48 and then towards 50. That is what I think is the most likely scenario, but yeah, I mean, obviously, if we don't make a move to the upside and we do just continue to operate underneath basically 46,000, then I think the most higher likelihood scenario will be a move, well, potentially even down to anywhere around 44,000, where we could then get a nice move back to the resistance again, or failing that, basically down to back test the $42,000 level. But like I said, I don't feel like we have established a wide enough range here to come down and test it, but so we would have to have a nice bounce and then continue up towards 50,000 and beyond if that was the case. Otherwise it could start to look like we will just trace some more sideways within this range, which is not the worst thing, especially if we are operating in the upper half of this range, but obviously it opens up the higher likelihood probabilities of breaking into the lower half and then below. So that is what we're looking at. We are still looking good. So yeah, remember, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and I shall speak to you guys soon.